Hello artists, Mrs. Castle here, and we're going to talk about how to shade a cube or a rectangular prism, pretty much the same thing. And this one is blue, obviously, like this turquoisey blue. You don't have to exactly match the colors. It's easiest if you use something that's kind of similar. Okay, so I am going to sketch out my shape, and this cube comes with the corner closest to me, so I'm going to start with my Y shape in the basic video. If you did 2-point perspective, you can use 2-point perspective to draw this if you would like to. Okay, then I'm gonna do my diagonals going the same direction. I'm gonna kind of try to stop where they're pretty close to being even. So I'm gonna do my sides straight up and down. Those edges are parallel and those edges are parallel. Then I'm going to do my top on it, and I'm going to try to kind of keep it angled kind of down a little bit. Instead of having my diagonals go up like this, I kind of squashed them down a little bit. That makes it sit flatter on the table. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to lightly fill in my first layer of color. Remember, this happens in layers. It does not happen by putting color on once. Okay, now, typically, one side is lighter, one side is medium, and one side is darkest. Obviously, this side is our darkest. And let's see if I can do this. Saturation, that's what I want. If you're looking at a picture on your iPad, you can do this as well. Like, completely take the color out of it by messing with the saturation, which you can see right there. So now we can see a little bit better which side is the lightest, which side is the darkest, and which side is medium. My lightest side is this side. Oops. Like right here, this side is going to be my lightest side. My medium side is going to be the top, and my darkest top is going to be the medium, and the lightest side is going to darkest side is going to be here. And I'm going to include the shadow. Like we saw in the cup, there's some reflected light right here in the middle, right here in the middle of the darkest side. So because of the way light is, there's bright light over here bouncing off, hitting the side there. And there's also bright light here hitting the top edge there. It's a little bit darker down at the bottom, but brighter up here, almost medium down in this area down here, if we're getting really, really fussy about the color. So I'm gonna fill in my medium side. And it's fairly consistent with the color. Okay. We know that from our color wheel that we can make a color lighter by adding a color that's lighter. I've got this lighter green, and I wouldn't want to use a green that's darker. that wouldn't be a good choice because this green is going to darken. This light green is going to help lighten the blue. So since we want to make this side lighter, we don't avoid the darker green. And it's going to make it, I'm going to put more of that green up at the top because we have that lighter area there. Kind of blending with my blue there so we don't completely lose our blue. And I'm going to go back and add some more of the green. Because it's kind of a lime, almost fluorescent-y green, it's gonna, still people will perceive it as being a little bit lighter. But we can always layer this up again to be medium. And before, I don't know if you can see it, but there are some places where I smeared the green into the blue. We can go over that a little bit more and kind of erase it. That's when it's a good, in between each part, it's a good idea to shake off your paper. So I'm just gonna shake mine off to the side to totally disrupt everything we're doing. All right, so I'm gonna add a little bit more blue. This is the darker side, so I could, with this, I could add a darker blue, and then I can go to a purple. And that will help set the sides off from each other instead of going towards the green again. I'm gonna go the opposite way on the color wheel. Okay, so I'm gonna start with some blue, darker blue. And putting this dark blue right next to that limey fluorescent-y green is gonna help those sides stand out from each other, which is part, learning those things is part of the cool part of drawing. You really, learning those, making contrast between those different things helps us fool people into believing that there's a three-dimensional object there instead of a two-dimensional object, or instead of just the surface of the paper. If you use black, I might let you use black in the background. I mean, if I blend, I really kind of prefer using my finger instead of a paper towel or something, just because it doesn't rub with the chalk pastels, it doesn't rub off the chalk quite so, the soft pastel quite so much. All right, I'm going to add some red in there for our deepest shadows, like right near the bottom, right here. That's where it's closest to the table. Actually, okay, this is a brown, it's not orange. Here's orange. This is a brown, and it's almost a compliment. So for my shadow, I'm gonna start with some purple. My shadow kind of Points down that way, in that way. Kind of like that. Actually, I think that points up a little bit more. That's a place that you could erase with the kneaded eraser. I don't have one here with me right now. I don't want to go digging around in my craft room to find one. Use my yellow to kind of take that down a little bit. Neutralize. Artists say that complements neutralize each other. They make each other a gray. Okay, I'm going to add some actual gray. Use my edge and go along underneath the bottom, because there's a little bit of darkness there along the edge. Okay, so let's shake some of that dust off. Okay. One more thing that I'm going to do, since there's kind of an indefinite, kind of a blurry edge, I can use my finger to blur that edge on the farthest edge from my object. The farther away the shadow gets from the object it's the cast shadow is from, the blurrier it gets. Okay, I think we're pretty much done. Okay. Once again, using a color that's lighter than, or towards the lighter end of the color wheel, we had a blue and we added a lighter green going towards the lighter. Yellow is the lightest, like purplish is the darkest. So we had a blue, we used a lighter green going towards yellow. Then to make the shadow on this side, we used a darker blue, we used some purple, and then we added some complement to make the darkest areas. And I want that more, I like that more blue, but a neutralized blue to make our sides. And I kind of went a little bit dark on the shadow, but okay, whatever. So this is where I could use my kneaded eraser to clean that up a little bit. Okay, I think that's a little better. It is kind of a strong shadow on there, but I make mistakes too, and that's okay. I've learned from it. So I learned that so much purple was kind of a mistake, because it kind of took away, purple took away from that, the edge of the box down there. Okay, now I know not to do that again. So, okay, so use your color wheel, use the complements when you need a darker shade of something, or when you need a neutralized shade to make it darker. If you have a color, move towards the lighter colors to lighten it up. If you have a light color, move towards the darker colors to darken it up. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.